Hey, this is Matt with My Florida Homebuyers. I am out driving around today looking at houses to buy, and just thought I would do a quick video on what to watch for as far as We Buy Houses scams. Now, there are a lot of legitimate cash home buyers like ourselves, My Florida Homebuyers, but there are also a lot of scams out there, and I just wanted to give you a couple quick things to look for that'll be like a red flag or a dead giveaway that you're dealing with someone who may be less than legitimate cash home buyer. Number one is the contract. Now, a lot of the scammy cash home buyers will show up with a one-page contract. It'll look kind of fishy. It'll just say something at the top like real estate contract, something generic like that. And if you read through it, it'll probably give them every sort of way to get out of the contract if they decide they don't want to buy the house. That's not good for you, because obviously if the contract's only one page, they probably took out all of the protections that you are afforded as the seller that should be in the contract, and they probably made it very heavily skewed towards the buyer, which is them. So what we do is I'm a licensed real estate broker with the state of Florida. We use the FAR/BAR as is contract, and that basically stands for the Florida Association of Realtors and the Florida Bar Association. And it's the same contract that realtors use, real estate agents, real estate brokers. I'm a real estate broker, so we use the same contract when we actually buy your house. So it's a 13-page contract. It has all the protections for you that the Florida Bar and the Florida Association of Realtors has decided that they need to put in the contract for you as the seller. And we actually offer you a guaranteed closing. So if we don't close on your property, we'll pay you $1,000, and that's a guarantee. There's no way for us to back out. We're not going to leave you high and dry on the closing date. We're going to buy your house guaranteed, and we use a legitimate contract. Now, another thing to look for is if someone shows up to your house and, say you saw one of those yellow signs on the side of the road, and you called, and the guy shows up and he wants to buy your house, and he wants you to sign today. And he's very pushy, and he wants you to sign immediately. That's a red flag. No one should push you into anything. No one should make it sound like the offer is only good for today. Those are surefire red flags that you're dealing with someone who's less than legitimate. No legitimate company is going to make you sign the day that they're looking at the house and tell you that the offer is only good for then. So avoid those people at all costs. Another thing that we've seen lately that I've heard is people showing up, or people calling you on the phone, or maybe you contact them and they want you to pay them money in order to pay them money to get a cash offer, or pay them money for some sort of closing costs or whatever it is. Don't pay anybody any money. If someone's buying your house, they're going to pay you money, not the other way around. So if anyone asks for any money at all, walk away. Don't deal with that person. They're probably going to scam you and take the money, and you're never going to see them again. Now, those are the most common things that we see. Now, there are people called wholesalers out there, and they're not technically cash home buyers, but they're not scams either, or although they can be. And I'll tell you what I mean. So basically, because we're a cash home buyer, we will actually buy your house, and we guarantee that we'll buy your house. And if we don't buy your house, we'll pay you $1,000. And we have our own money. We'll actually be the ones closing on your house. There are a lot of people out there, and they call them wholesalers. And basically what they'll do is they'll put your house under contract, and then they'll take that contract and they'll try to sell that contract to an actual cash home buyer, like me. So we get emails all week long about this. So I probably get 100 emails a week from wholesalers trying to sell me a contract for a house that they have under contract. So typically they're overpriced. Typically wholesalers are going to be inexperienced. They probably have the price wrong on the house, so I can't buy it because it's way overpriced. And what ends up happening is they end up having to back out of the contract, or go back to the seller and ask for a price reduction because they did not put it under contract at a price where they can resell it to a legitimate home buyer at a decent price. So that's one thing you want to watch for. It's not a scam per se. There are a lot of good wholesalers out there. They may be able to actually resell the contract to a cash home buyer and get it sold for you. Typically, an actual cash home buyer like us is going to be able to pay more money for it just because you're cutting out a middleman. But not all wholesalers are bad. A lot of them will actually get the house sold for you. But when you're signing a contract with someone, you should ask and make sure and see if they're actually going to be buying it or if they're just going to try to sell the contract. Most wholesalers are not going to offer a guaranteed closing because they can. If they can't sell the property, they're just going to either, like I said, either back out or they're going to ask you for a price reduction so that they can shop it around again. So that's just something to be careful of. We've actually had people who have contacted us and they had their property under contract with a wholesaler. I was familiar with the property because they had already emailed it to me 100 times asking if I wanted to buy it, and it was priced too high and I declined every time. So what they ended up doing was they backed out of the contract. They left the seller high and dry on the date they were supposed to close. The seller had everything packed in the moving truck, sitting in the driveway ready to go, went to closing, and the wholesaler was a no-show because obviously he doesn't have any money. He's trying to sell the contract and he was unable to do that. So those are just some of the things to watch out for. Like I said, there are a lot of good wholesalers out there, but there's probably even more bad wholesalers. It's like 10% good wholesalers, 90% bad wholesalers. And that's because, all these real estate seminars, all these classes, you've heard them, get into real estate and make a fortune with none of your own money. That's a wholesaler, basically. So if you do decide to deal with a wholesaler, or if you decide to deal with a cash home buyer like us, look online for reviews. See if they have testimonials. See that they've actually been able to do what they said they were going to do for other people. Check and see if they're accredited by the Better Business Bureau. We have an A rating on the Better Business Bureau. I'm a licensed real estate broker, so I have a clean criminal background. My fingerprints are on file with the state of Florida. And some of these other people you don't know. If someone says they are a licensed anything, real estate broker, agent, whatever, you can verify their license at myfloridalicense.com, and you can actually look me up on there if you wanted to. So if they say they're an agent, definitely do that. Check and see ask them, say, hey, are you going to wholesale this or are you going to actually buy it? Because you typically don't want to deal with a wholesaler if you're looking for a guaranteed closing, because a lot of them, unless they have their own money as well, they can't offer that. And then look at reviews. Look for testimonials. Look for legitimate testimonials to see if they've actually purchased houses from people. Ask them to provide addresses or references for other people that they've purchased houses from. So just some things to look for. Stay away from one-page contracts that look funny. Stay away from any contract other than the Florida Realtors, the FAR Bar as-is contract. Watch out for people who want you to sign right then, who are very pushy. That's never a good thing. What else did I have here? Don't pay anybody any sort of money. If they ask you for money, they are buying your house. You're not supposed to pay them anything. That's a red flag. And then if you do decide to sign a contract with a wholesaler, just be aware that they may shop it around and they may not be able to close. So before you sign a contract, ask the person, hey, are you going to be buying this? Are you a cash home buyer or are you a wholesaler? So that is all I have for you today. My name is Matt. I'm with My Florida Home Buyers. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you on the next video.